guys, welcome back from that short break. We are still driving business as Smart 24 TV. As we were discussing on how to budget capital, mainly now we are going to target the pre-budget and post-budget. So you guys, what would you do if your pre-budget is not matching with your post-budget right now?
I go back to my analysis and my capital. Remember we discussed earlier that whenever you're making your collect whatever money you're collecting for your business. Remember there's the other problems which come in, and guess what? This is also a problem. The pre and
like we talked about
post-budgeting.
The other time, when you're budgeting, put in some extra money.
Yes, so that extra money will come in to match my pre and my post budget, because my pre may be small and I'm needing more money, so I put it back and I realize my post is now big. I'm going to be running on my post budget, and I've gotten them already in the business. So I go back to my money I had kept aside for those problems. I put it in the business goes on.
Kati nabikwa yaliyo wansera akai atamanyi nti alina okwongera extra money mu business plan ye kati abudgetinga. Oba kati agenze okugenda mu katale okugula ebintu byalina okuguza baneibabe akola atya?
I'm sure they just have to be serious about their life and the documenting.
But if the money is not there,
that's where you have to have those other people, those one call away people, those
coming in to save you, rescue you in that time of crisis.
If it were you,
work. Okay, I think to me, I would, like we talked the other time, I don't like surprises. If let's us budgeting for 400k, I would at least fix my budget and add like a 50k.
Just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah, I think we are living in hard times. It's a hard economy, yes. I just think you have to come back to like getting financial humility and still scrapping off something. Manyenakuyo, you know. For example, there are things that we can exclude. You get Katinga, you're putting this fast foods business kokubo, and then you're saying that oyagala no machine obu jila juice or if you it's quite expensive. So the best thing is sticking to the fridge, you know, or maybe in a fridge water to kuja affording. Go for neighbor kuja okumpiao. Maybe go take a juice in that fridge during the night or any time and so pay them some small money.
Someone should scrap off
something, yes, and stick to that money, because you'll be forced to steal, you'll be forced to borrow money that you can't pay back, you lose friends, they'll badmouth you.
That applies for when the things you're thinking you're moving from the budget are not important, but realize all things are important in the business.
They're all important, yes. Like we say, we just say it's things you can live without other things. When your business catches up with time, you can bring in these other things.
Okay, planning, okay, just because realize sometimes you may think they may be good at the moment and not.
That's where patience comes in. Who are many actually?
Yeah, you just wake up, get your money, start up your business.
Hit the market, get those bags, sell them, post them on WhatsApp.
But I think basically this show is here to answer that. Like now you know that you're supposed to what? To budget. Otherwise, the moment you don't budget, there are a lot of things going on. You know, before you know
it, call us to budget for you.
They tell you you're supposed to buy onions of 200, you end up buying onions of 1k. You get. So you should.
If you can't, again, please call us. We do the budgeting for you. It's going to be a free thing.
Martha is saying get it to our inbox. I didn't quite take on show.
No, not really, but business side of it. Just hit me up and I do for you what's up.
Yeah, so connecting with our social family, we happened to post about the topic of the week, and they gave their peace of mind here and there, and this is what they had to say.
Someone here called neighbor Betty said, determine all your essential one-time costs and capital expenditures. Yeah, we talked about that.
God, that's beautiful and intelligent.
Yeah.
Another comment?
The other one is from the last born, Melanie. Calculate the costs you need to start the business and also prepare for the unexpected. Like we were saying, in case of anything. Yeah.
In case they steal that stove, we have to have a backup for the stove, stolen one. The other person here, KBJ, Brian KBJ says, prioritize what you need and avoid excitement. As earlier said, the very first thing we had discussed was prioritizing.
And then the next person?
This one, so Kyson says, expect unknowns and be ready for the different challenges. Just know you're going in a business world, you have to be a strong person.
Yeah, there are rough waters.
You have to be ready. This world is harsh. People are tired. We are tired.
All kinds of ways.
Yeah.
You get those bad people and everything. Just, but it has to be fit in all those challenges.
Yeah.
Okay. So I happened to post two, and these are the comments. At Baisi Bogele, he was like, at the beginning, usually, most businesses struggle, but persistence is the way to go. Also, minimize unprofitable expenses. This is what I was talking about, Things that are not going to really, that maybe they are important, but they're not so important. You should prioritize. And then another person was like, at his actualness, sticking to only spending on the prior planned assets essential to their business. Very important. Or in our official operational capital. Many times we put it all into the purchases for the business and forget to have some change for operational things like data, AT and TP for the business. Now I know he talked about operational costs. And operational costs, these are costs that are happen on a daily
run.
As you're there,
electricity.
You need AT to call someone. You need data,
transport.
You need people to transport your things. Yeah.
The delivery guy must be paid on time. All those things.
So you should. So he's trying to say that stick to whatever you had planned earlier on. Stick to your budget, and on top of that, don't use all your money to buy these things like machining or buy you should leave some money for these other costs that will happen on a daily.
Those were some of the comments from our Twitter family. As usual, we always bring in someone ahead of us to explain more. So here is our expert who will elaborate more about the budgeting of capital.
Greetings to everyone watching TV now. I'm Nakayenga Regina, the Managing Director of Rena Beverage Solutions and also the founder. I'm happy to be here today to share with you some experiences. We are going to talk about budgeting for capital and its importance. And first and foremost, you need to have a purpose or a reason for budgeting for capital. Definitely that is now the business idea which you want to finance. And this idea could be a service, could be a product, could be some works. But all along, once you have known what you want to do, you need to put down all the requirements that need to be financed, including the skills you require in the form of human resource, the raw materials which you want if you are in production, all the goods which you want to procure if you are just a trader, all the service which you want to deliver to people. It has its requirements, even the service, because you have to prepare the projections, the stationery, and so on and so forth. Even these days, the Zoom itself. So when you have that, then you translate those activities into monetary figures. You say, okay, if you are in production, you want raw materials, you have listed your materials to use in production, you put the quantities and then you put the price. And that way you get the budget. And for everything you want to do, you have to put there the quantity, the rate or the amount to be spent on each unit, and you multiply that and you get the total amount you need per activity item. Of course, as you are budgeting for capital, as I have already mentioned, you have what you are going to do. So write it down in your notebook, in your diary, but better if you have even a book where you write all those budgetary requirements, and you have your accounting system. You can put it even in the computer and you compute them right. But first and foremost, you must note down everything, not in the head. The head you will forget. You can use your phone and you create a spreadsheet for that. Prioritize the requirements. These requirements are several. You may need to budget for where you are going to work from, the place or the premises, because if you don't have anywhere to work from, you have to budget for the space. You can also budget for the fee. If you are going, for example, to be selling, you need capital to sell somewhere, products, but to sell them somewhere, and you need to pay some taxes, some fees for transportation and so on. You need to budget for that. You also need to budget for some legal requirements because the different businesses require different things altogether. If I talk about manufacturing and you need capital requirement, you may have to go through some certification processes. If you don't budget for that money as seed money to start your business, then you will miss out, because you will not be able to take the product to the supermarkets which you want to sell it to, or to sell it to those people who have the money which you want to get, like the corporates. They will always look at certification. So it is important for you to look at the legal requirements of your business when you are budgeting for capital, apart from raw materials and paying the human resource. Okay, when you are budgeting for capital, you have to use, or you may use different methods. There is a method, you look at the market prices, because you are not going to be operating the market alone. And if you put your prices too high, unless your product is so good that it will attract a premium price and the uniqueness will make it stand out, you always have to look back at what are the market prices. But there is also looking at the costs. What are the costs involved, such that you put down every cost, and then after you have gotten all the total costs, then you put on the markup for the profit, and you come up with the price of what you want to do. Budgeting for capital is very interesting, because apart from what you want to do and what you want to use in your business, let me explore a little bit of common business for the youth these days. Like they do a lot of digital businesses. They make apps, they do e-trade or digital marketing and sales. So what is it that you need? You need, first and foremost, the laptop or the computer. And so when you are budgeting, you as a youth, you must know the tools which you are going to use, so that becomes your point number one. Your source of work becomes point number one. So what I would say is always look at what business you are going to do, what are the basic requirements, and factor them in. Those people who are in the rural areas, so that I will go back to the rural areas, when they are making capital budgets, they are looking at the land which they will use. Where are they going to grow their crops from? So they will budget for hiring land. They will also budget for plowing the land. And some of them will budget for transporting the produce like the boda boda, or if they want to do boda boda business, they will definitely budget for the boda boda. So it all depends, but most important, look at what product, what business you want to do to determine what you have to budget for as capital.
We'll be back from the expert, and I hope you've learned one or two from there and you're going to implement it in your business. Continuing with our conversation, we're talking about the different types of costs, because you realize that people keep spending money within their business, but they don't know where and how exactly.
Which exactly thing should they put the money in?
Yes. So starting with operational costs. Operational costs are costs that happen on a daily. For example, machine for example, or maybe a sigiri or kugulu kwe sigiri ya chapati ne kumenyeka. Ngo gula, actually not gula. You might think I can't buy a new charcoal stove. So you call the welding man to put a new leg on the charcoal stove.
You might have your boys in the village. Katsumi has her boys in the village to just fix those things.
Wow, yeah. It's also helpful.
You can just call them. You're like, oh, even you the person.
Okay.
You the chapati.
Okay, yeah.
Or like another side skill.
Yeah. So, like what you would do, you put back the leg of the charcoal stove and then continue with life.
That's in my experience.
You could use a stove.
I told you.
Chapati one pound, which so stone what you call it. But take a go like stand.
Kati wali wo. Ngakonela wansi.
So it can help you for the meantime as you take a cup.
Yeah. Then sometimes airtime, transport, Kagwila, it happens on a
But
day.
the transport is a big problem and it over affects the business, though you guys never think about it. But imagine you work from town and you realize every day you make like 70,000.
Yeah.
Now when you're going back home, because I'm going to a bit transport people transport is affecting the budget. By all means. Chigo entebe wafi.
Why don't you rush off now and tell you home?
And that's a problem with poor planning. You realize you're staying in Chigo, for example, and you thought staying in Chigo, since the houses in Chigo are cheap, you're going to save. Kumbe, you're spending more money on transport.
That's business for another day.
But it's still affecting the business. Remember, your budget, your daily budget is not, flowing.
But also, you may not be staying Fango Sula Kumpi, but the intensity, like the urgency of you leaving that place can cause you to what? To pay more money.
So, Saman, what are some of those examples for these other costs?
These other kind of costs include fixed costs, variable costs.
The word variable sounds hard already.
Like expound more.
Okay.
For that viewer who doesn't understand that.
So, for like fixed costs, you have those costs that don't change. They're always the same.
Yeah.
For example, rent. If you're somewhere and it's maybe some small meter or maybe 1 meter or 2 meters, you get. You're going to keep paying that.
200
always
every
be
month.
that.
Yeah,
Okay, not until the landlady says
not until they change, but it always be that you get.
Yeah.
And like for variable costs, whereby they'll keep changing once in a while. For example,
electricity.
Electricity, salary, airtime.
For your workers.
Salary for your workers. I was wondering.
It will always keep changing, and sometimes to be jaka, you get. And so because of that, you find that you price sell you get because what was center is really full my business now you're not aware you get so you should know what kind of costs are happening in your business, put them in your budget, be flexible, and then you'll be covered.
To learn all these ideas, to keep up with us, to understand business and to maintain your business as a young person, just keep watching The Lounge on Smart 24 TV, where we drive business every Saturday 10 a.m. Don't miss.
A wise woman once told me, growing up is all about making hard decisions. The earlier you make them, the better. We are always at Caravan Turkish Restaurant here at Centenary Park. Thank you for watching The Lounge. I am Brunia. Bye.
Remember to catch us live on Smart 24, that's YouTube. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, IG, wherever, that's Smart 24. I hope that you've picked one or two, but most importantly, you might budget, you'll do all things, you'll even pray. By the moment you don't train your heart and mind, then you're not going to get anywhere. So keep it locked, 10 a.m. every Saturday. I'm Samali and ciao.